Welcome back to this Jack. Hey, for anybody who missed my Friday stream, it didn't exist. I wasn't feeling well and decided not to stream. And today's stream is going to be remarkably short. I actually have a few things that I'm just wanting to test out for making content for this channel. Because if I can do this right, this actually might be helpful, productive, maybe. We'll find out. All right. So we got some anime stuff I'm going to be talking about, mostly anime stuff, to be honest. If there's anything else that's been going on that is I've been paying attention to, it's mostly politics stuff, and I don't want to talk about politics on here. I can rant for hours on it. I want to. So, this is going to be a short stream. I didn't even share it on my Discord channel. Which, a side note, content creators doing it for Twitch, whatever. I feel YouTubers have to, because YouTubers' announcement system is so foobarred. Speak of Twitch streamers, there's my little sister Gothic showing up in chat. Hola, ¿cómo está? I actually don't know much Spanish. I know a little bit more Japanese. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about that time I got reincarnated as a slime. I've got two different characters I want to talk about, and so let me explain to y'all my idea of what I want to do. I'm going to basically do a segment of me talking about a character or talking about something that I would normally make a video. Well, hi, Board. I'm Jack. I'm your older brother. Anyway, that I would normally do a whole video on and just record it and edit it and just release it. Well, I want to talk about it on stream because this would what I want to try to do with it is I talk about it on here. I do the video itself here, and then I'll probably go through and edit it and tweak it up, make it look better, and then release it. The advantage is, in between the two segments, I can stop and talk to you guys and see if there's anything you guys want to add, and I can either add it to the video, or I can make an additional video that responds to what some of the critiques some people have brought up, if it's an anime that people have watched with me. We're going to be doing That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, two separate characters, because I wanted to kind of explain a little bit about them. That's rather interesting. So, with that part said, now this will be a short stream because this is more or less me like testing out to see if I can do it. Because once again, I don't script anything. Like I have like my vague talking points that I want to cover, but I rely on just my sheer freaking knowledge of the topic to win, and it's kind of what I've learned to do from the Navy. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? All right. Oh, and after this, if you want, we can maybe do some Elden Ring or something. We'll figure out something to do. Anyway, let's get to the first one. All right. That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime is probably one of my favorite animes currently. It's not the favorite, but it is definitely up there. There's a couple that hold a special place in my heart, like Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, for various reasons. But That Time I Got Reincarnated as Slime just hits the right spot when it comes to like isekai stories, because I don't like isekai stories where the character's just overpowered and the whole story is them fighting some demon lord or whatever. I like the idea of a character whose story is them actually trying to make the world better for other people, usually like creating a civilization or just trying to make life better for other people. And that's kind of like, that's my version of a power trip. That's what I would prefer to do. Anyway, that's another conversation. In there are a couple characters I wanted to talk about. And the one I'm going to start with for this video is Rimurus, the fairy queen, whatever you want to call her. She's the one who manages the labyrinth. And more often than not, she's a punchline. She's a joke. And that's actually kind of interesting. She's one of the three oldest demon lords. And she's treated like a joke. Like, she's not powerful. That she, like, why is she even a demon lord and all that stuff? And, just so y'all don't know, just so y'all know, this is what she normally looks like in the show. She's, you know, these big, and more often than not, she's treated like she's just not a threat. Like, she really can't do anything. Like, if you're in her labyrinth, you're screwed. She can do whatever she wants to you. But if you're outside the labyrinth, she's just a joke. Like, she, like, and it's usually played up for laughs. Like, her saying, I can beat Valdora, haha, then sees him, and then, like, passes out immediately, saying that she could take on pretty much anyone, and then, you know, like, you look at her and like, no, you can't. Like, it's a running joke you see in a lot of animes. But here's the thing. I'm not lying. And some of you are like, wait a minute, what? So, the version of her we're seeing is her kid version. She resurrected herself. Let me explain to you real fast. She didn't do a ritual. She didn't have hacks. She didn't have a preset thing set up so if she dies, she came back. No. She resurrected herself. She decided she didn't want to be dead and came back to life. And this is her kid form, effectively. In her prime, she was considered this probably the second, if not third, most powerful being in existence, behind the creator of the world. And maybe Guy Crimson. Yeah, she wasn't a pushover. The only reason she's as weak as she is now, weak, is because of actually Malim Nava. It actually goes into another story I'll talk about later, but very specifically, when Malim Nava went on her rampage, and it was Remus and Guy Crimson who calmed her the hell down from destroying the world, um, she basically, I think it was described as she took on all her sins or all the evil and prevented Malim Nava from being completely corrupted and turned into a monster, and and destroyed her body. But she resurrected herself. She's like, I don't feel like being dead. That doesn't sound like fun, so I'm just going to resurrect myself. So, yeah, Primaris is not a pushover. Like, yeah, once again, she's played like she's a joke character, but she's not. Unfortunately, the manga and even the web novel does not go into, like, what she could really do. She's just declared one of the most powerful characters. Mind you, she's, even in her kid form, a master of illusions and shit like that. So she's not a pushover even then. She just is played up for jokes. All right, now normally this is where I would be like, hey, what do y'all want to talk about? Is there something I missed? Something y'all think like, hey, no, she actually is a joke, whatever, whatever. No? All right, moving on to the next character. All right. Rimuru's got there's a few other worlders who are friends with Rimuru, and one of them is Yuki. Now Yuki is a bag of crazy. Well, not really crazy. Like, kind of, he's an evil mastermind, or at least he views himself as such. But one of the people who work for him directly is a former demon lord who's supposed to be dead, named Kazalim, who currently goes by the name of Kagali, or however you want to say it. The character is actually really interesting and plays actually a larger role in the story than you realize so far. Now, note, this is going to have spoilers for upcoming arcs, from things that have happened in the past to things that are going to happen in the future that I feel I need to warn you about. So, spoilers. All right? So, this is Kazalim now in the name of Kagali. They are in a elf female form, which is actually really freaking funny in its own way. Not because man trapped in female body. No, actually, it's much more interesting than that. But let's get to this part. This is roughly what they are shown looking like as Kazalim, when they were the Demon Lord Kazalim. So, their history is actually really, really weird. In this form, they are a dead man. A person, they're effectively a revenant, a person who is killed and brought back to life and given, like, corpse body. Now, normally, it can sometimes be like one person dead and brought back, or it can be a bunch of people died and their consciousness formed into one person. All of the Harlequin Alliance are dead men, including Oslim himself. Now, I'm going to go back to this picture because this picture is much better. Now, here is the interesting point of Kazalim as they were as Kazalim. They are originally a female elf. Now you're like, no. Like, no, they originally were a female elf. In the original elf kingdom, which there's a fun story about them, you'll find out in a minute, they were the princess. They were the second in charge of the whole kingdom, and their dad went batshit insane, stole all their magic power, and tortured their daughter until she eventually died and got resurrected as a male dead man. Yeah, that's right. The funny thing is remember, when she is first revealed as an elf female, one of her followers make fun of her for it. And incidentally, that was her original form anyway, so it's kind of funny. But anyway, so she is tortured and made hideous upon the resurrection as a curse, that any form that she physically takes is supposed to be hideous. And that was done by her dad. Her dad just going psychotic. Eventually, her dad oversteps his boundaries and decides to kill a baby dragon, who pisses off a little pink-haired girl by the name of... remember her name. I want to say it was Millis? I don't know. Anyway, not important character. She's probably like a one-off character, not important. It's Malim. In case y'all haven't figured it out already, and I haven't put like a bunch of things right there, I'm talking about Malim. Yeah, Malim, the sorcerer, the place that she destroyed to become a demon lord was Kazalim's home country, the ancient elven empire that she destroyed. Kazalim's home. And then this is when she got free, became Demon Lord Kazalim, became the person who became Demon Lord Kazalim, and then created the Harlequin Alliance. By the way, when she created other dead men, she found out they don't all become ugly upon resurrection. Like, it was just her. So that's why they all wear masks. Because as a, it's kind of like a thing of solidarity with her. Like, hey, wait a minute. Um, yeah, we know you're self-conscious about your look, so let's all wear masks. You know, that kind of thing. And Clayman, he takes his off and puts it on all the time, depending on what he needs to do. Anyway, so now that we're caught up with the past, now they are just basically the loyal secretary to Yuki, because Yuki, when Kazalim was supposed to die in their fight with, I forget the blonde hair guy's name, when he was going to die, he had a backup plan in the form of force summoning an otherworlder in the form of Yuki and was going to possess their body. But Yuki was more powerful than they were expected to be. So Kazalim, now Kagila, took over their was not able to take over the body, but was able to inhabit it. Yuki eventually gave them their own body. Now, of course, eventually Yuki does stop being a dickhead and starts actually working with Rimuru. So what do they do? You'll find out. That's coming up. So that's the characters I wanted to talk about. All right. Now, Gothic. I have a small problem with an anime called Yu-Gi-Oh! You're going to have to narrow that down. There's like 5 animes of Yu-Gi-Oh! Which one are you talking about? By the way, my favorite is like the one with like the motorcycles. Like at first I hated it. I thought it was stupid. Like, why are you playing the card game while riding motorcycles? But then I actually like paid attention to like the background plot to it, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is a cyberpunk universe, and it's very fuck you, police. For those who don't know, what I was doing there was I was basically recording the video, and I'll be going, oh, the first anime of Yu-Gi-Oh. All right, go on, continue. I want to hear. I want to hear what you're bitching about. Stop. Um, I'm just sitting here thinking of like, could you imagine an Elden Ring Magic the Gathering crossover? Like, I wouldn't trust Wizards of the Coast to pull this off, right? Because I frankly am pissed off at Wizards of the Coast right now. But I'm sitting here thinking of like just like the different cards you could make, like Rodigan, not Rodigan, Radon, Ronnie, and then you have like a spell card like the Knight of the Black Knives or whatever. Oh, the Heart of the Cards thing. Yeah, that became such a trope, mind you. I feel that's like. So let's talk about that. That's actually a good one to talk about. So in anime, you have the reoccurring trope of the heart of the cards or the friendship stuff or the power of friendship. Like Yu-Gi-Oh is probably like there's other ones that are pretty bad about it, but I think Yu-Gi-Oh is like the worst at it. The power of friendship and all that bullshit. And it actually eventually turns into like one of the things I hate the most that appears in anime. One of there's like 2 things that I hate the most, and and the things I hate that are toxic. We'll get to that in a second though. Anyway, yeah, the heart in the cards. Um, yeah, it is that's a personification of what's the word I'm looking for? Plot armor. The heart of the cards guide me is literally just plot armor. It's the equivalent of saying, "May the force be with you." Like, hopefully the plot of the story helps me. That's all it's really saying. And it's and the reason why I don't like um, power of friendship bullshit you'll see in anime is because um, I think Naruto is probably the best example. Is it glorifies toxic friendships. The reason why I use Naruto as the specific example, Sasuke. Oh, I hate Sasuke Uchiha with a passion. In Boruto, he's much better, but um, the whole point of that character is he tries to kill pretty much everyone who's ever cared about him. ever. He tries to kill Naruto several times, and Naruto just forgives him. Every time he tries to kill him, he forgives him. Tries to kill the woman who eventually becomes his wife. Not only does she still become his wife, but they forgive him for it. He tries to kill the person who taught him how to be a ninja initially. Talking about Kakashi, and forgives him. They all forgive him like it's nothing. That, that's abusive friendship. If a person can try to kill me and I forgive them and still try to be friends with them, that's abusive. Yeah, no, like in regards to going back to Yu-Gi-Oh, you're right. And all the series have that to some degree. You can never be like, oh, Yugi's going to lose this. And when he does lose it, it's extremely rare and it's rather shocking because you're like, no matter how bad the circumstance, oh, Yugi's got 1 HP left. He's going to lose. Or LP, whatever. And you're like, no, plot armor says otherwise. Unless there's a reason. Like, there's a couple episodes where he does lose. He legitimately loses. I think his first fight with Pegasus, he loses. And then there's like a couple series later, he's dueling the Orichalcum. I forget what it was, but basically they had a weird card that like wasn't the Shadow Realm. It took them somewhere else. It was like basically doing like Cthulhu shit. And instead of 5 summoning fields, they had 10 because of a special field card they'd play. And Yu-Gi-Oh, Yami Yugi specifically, used the card in the duel because he's like, I needed to win, and he loses Yugi Moto. And that's why you have the trope of, it should have been me! You know, that thing. Like no matter what situation goes on, you always feel that way. Like how when he was fighting Pegasus in the Shadow Realm at one point, and he didn't even know the cards that his other self had put down, it's just fucking bullshit. And I do like how Cell calls him out, like that's considered outside help. Yeah, Dragon Ball Bridge for the win again. But yeah, I absolutely dislike the power of friendship. And like you could say that's just the cynical version of me, but like no, I'm a guy who grew up with a lot of people I thought were friends, and I put up with a lot of bullshit. And then I look back, I'm like, no, these guys were toxic. They're probably why I have a messed up sense of self ego because they would tear me down any chance they got. They would just use and abuse me, and the second I had any confidence and started to see that they were using me, they would tear me back down, so I wouldn't. So I'd fall away from that. Oh yeah, yeah. The heart of the cards is just the epitome of plot armor. I keep forgetting the word plot armor. That's what set you on that rant. Like you could just watch the anime, and that's like half. That's like half of it right there. No, I really don't care about it. I got a new jacket coming in, and I'm actually really happy about it. It's a jacket I'll be able to work out when it gets cold. Because like, for those who don't know me, I have like 3 jackets. I have and they're like 2 of them are leather jackets. The other's like a cotton poncho. It's from Cloak, you know, Markiplier's whole thing. And like I either have a light leather jacket or a heavy leather jacket. When I say heavy, I mean it weighs like 10 pounds. And motorcycle jacket. And yeah, none of those are good for when you're jogging. Yeah, as a kid, you don't think about it. You're like, hey, story. But as you get older, you start looking and you're like I can understand the same thing with Bleach. Like Bleach has one of the other things that bug the hell out of me is the chosen one issue, which Yugi is also a chosen one. Hell, all the characters are, by definition. That's why I say Joey's so powerful, is because he's literally the only one who's not chosen by destiny and is still a major badass. But anyway, what was I saying? That's why I hate chosen ones, because it's just the epitome of plot armor. Yeah, I know. So I very much, when I start watching animes like that, I'm just like, I'm just gonna enjoy the ride. Like I know it's stupid. I'm just gonna enjoy the ride. Because like, there's one anime that I'm actually looking at that I'm watching right now, and I kind of regret that I'm watching it. I'm pulling it up right now for anybody. Like I'm gonna finish it, maybe, possibly. I don't know. But it's like I'm only on episode 7. It's World Break, aria of curse for a holy swordsman. Like even the description of it, like goes into like this is a power trip fantasy. The story is set in a private school that brings together saviors, students who have awakened memories of their past lives as shirogane or komori, basically swordsmen or spellcasters. That's effectively what they come down to. Shirogane use weapons gleaned with piranha, light magic, from their bodies to fight enemies, while Kurama use magic by manipulating mana to banish their foes, dark magic. Moraha has just enrolled in the private school as the first savior in history who's awakened memories of both their Shirogane and Kurama. So basically, he gets to draw power from legendary hero who uses magic and legendary hero who uses sword. Yeah, not overpowered to begin with. And then, like, the first one opens up already setting up the harem. I'm not joking. The first episode sets up him having a harem because both the women who immediately start who are immediately in love with him, remember their past lives and remember loving him. He doesn't remember it at first. So he has this one girl. One of the girls was his sister in their past life, and of course it was a siscon or brocon, whatever the fuck it's called when it's from that side. So now they're like, now that we're not siblings, I can be in a relationship with you. And of course that's not weird at all. And then the other one was just the other one actually has a more interesting story where she was a slave girl. He freed and then they married in their other life. So they straight up were married. So that one's actually a much cooler story. But either way, that's like it sets that up within the first episode of this character is insanely OP and like literally fights on S tier level within the first 3 episodes. With S tier being stops world ending events. There's one for each nation, effectively, each major nation. There's a Russian one, American one, already a Japanese one, British one, and I forget the other two. And by the way, each of the different like S-class heroes are very tropey, like extremely tropey. The American one doesn't go to the meeting, just shows up on computer and basically just computer geek and all that stuff. Then you have which I'm surprised they didn't do like the super muscular. They have the super femme fatale Russian girl. You have the constantly drinking tea British guy who's also a pompous ass. Like super tropey stuff. Like, yeah. And like, I will give this, they give a lot of the background characters a lot more personality than they do most other animes. He ends up joining basically would be like the equivalent of the militia of heroes that are tied to the school by default. And like even the characters who were in there for only a little bit each have more personality than you'd see in most other anime or manga. You have like the second in command is this one woman who's like straight up a nympho. Like she's psychotic with it. And unfortunately, she also does one of the things that annoy the hell out of me, which is she actually does a lot of SA in it. Yeah. And then you have like you could just watch it. You'll know what I'm talking about. Like they have a lot of like tropey personalities in it, but they do give them a lot of personality with it. So that's not saying much. It's just more of an insult to the other animes in regards to it. But would I recommend watching this? No. I'm only finishing it because I just started and I'm like, screw it. It's got like 12 episodes. Might as well. But it's just extremely tropey. Harem anime power trip. That sums it up. All right. Because there is an anime that did you're a resurrected hero, resurrected villain, or whatever, really damn well. I actually haven't finished it because they've been releasing more episodes, and I was kind of waiting for it to finish. And now that it has, I just still haven't gotten back to it yet. I've talked about this anime several times on here. Sorry, my back is itchy. Really freak are you? Here it is. Misfit at Demon Academy. Demon King Academy. Basically, for on the demon side, there were people. The people who'd go to the academy were people who had the potential to become the Demon King, like had fragments of his power or whatever. The main character is the Demon King, like straight up has all of his memories and everything. He's like less than a year old because he forced himself into being a teenager so he can attend the academy when he wanted to. And but like the two girls on his sides, like it plays off like they're a harem with him, but they're not. Like he has no interest in them, and they don't do the like you can see like some of the personality you'd normally see in that kind of stuff, but they don't. It doesn't play up the romance side of it at all, and they don't try to sleep with him. But anyway, that's not the important part. He is extremely powerful. Like at no point do you really feel he's weak or anything like that. Um, but they play it in a very good way. This is like one of the few times I feel that they do the power trope or power trip trope, and they do it very well. Like it feels more like how they do Alucard in Helsing. Like they did a really good job with it. I do like this one. But anyway, at one point they reveal that there is a hero academy that the humans have. I'm not going to go into the full explanation for why there's what's going on with that, but it's basically you have people who are resurrected heroes, people who like remember their past life, they were heroes in the previous wars, and and that's the concept behind that. Now humans are shown to be very bigoted towards the demons because they had, and there's it's not because of, and it's for very specific reasons. It's not even their fault. Basically, on the demon side, I forget the name of the spells, but there's a ritual spell that they use where the Demon King will spread his power amongst all of his followers so that his followers become more powerful. The humans do the inverse, where they draw power from their allies so that their chosen hero becomes more powerful. Well, that version of the spell got corrupted about 1,000 years ago when he was last alive, and instead of just doing that, it slowly programmed everybody who was using the spell to just hate demons by default, that all demons must die. And it's been used for the past 1,000 years, and everybody who gets connected to it, it happens to. In fact, spoilers. At one point, even the main character uses the spell just to prove that he could, and it started corrupting his own followers. And he's like, "Wait a minute, what?" Like that's when they realized something was wrong with it. So once again, really well done, like beautifully well done. It has those moments of like you just really get to enjoy like the moment when you watch an anime and you have those moments of, man, I really wish the main character would step in here. He does it. Like it really makes you happy. I do if you're looking for a good power trip anime, this is a good one. All right, but yeah, I've seen most of season two up to a certain point because the first this season is effectively broken into two separate parts. Um, they move it? No, they didn't. Okay, I'm not gonna spoil it. Zane's right there, and he's adorable. Anyway, I think I've actually covered everything I wanted to on stream. Once again, this is just me testing out a few things. This is an incredibly short stream. I was going to do a spotlight on with Holobody because it's Halloween. It'd be great to do a Halloween stream, but I don't know. Just didn't feel like it. Super professional of me, isn't it? Anyway, appreciate y'all being here. Plan to see y'all in the next one. Ta ta.